I know. What's the...
My name is Jeff.
Well, it's raining. It's a $600 500K mystery bounty. And if this video gets posted, I decided to vlog it. We'll see how it goes. Hello. We didn't vlog any of the $600 mystery because we weren't in that long. I think we busted like level 7. It was 501K. We had like 21K left from 30. And there wasn't a ton of interesting spots, so I just decided not to vlog it. But today is the $300 25K guarantee turbo. So if there's any interesting spots, maybe I'll vlog it. So if you see this, might be some interesting spots. But the $600 500K mystery bounty, not much happened. I mean, the early levels, we made some hands, couldn't get paid off, and then later, when the blinds went up, there was a bunch of opening and calling 3-bets, and then having to fold, not making many hands, and then we were in the big blind with king queen offsuit, 21 big blinds, button opened 2.5 times, and we jammed, and he called with ace-9 and held. So that was that and that. That was that and that one. So today's $300 turbo, 25K guarantee. If there's any interesting hands, we'll talk about them, and we'll see what happens. Well, you're probably wondering why we're not at the Hard Rock talking about the $300 turbo. It's because we're out. We got knocked out in level 3. We literally played 3 or 4 hands, and then we looked down at 2 black aces. It goes raise to 500 at 100, 200, or 200, 300. I guess 100, 200. I made it 1400. Call. Raise to 5K. Back to me. I make it 13.7. Obviously, I'm not just going to go all in. I don't want him to get scared with jacks or queens and fold. Folds around to him. He thinks. Goes all in. I call. He has queens. Queen in the window. 4 diamonds. We had black aces, so it doesn't matter. So we busted the 300 turbo. So that was really the only hand to talk about there. But we played the $200 six max the next day, and we shipped it. So I didn't plan on vlogging that because the last 2 events were so bad, but I did get, a few clips, and we can talk about some hands. But yeah, that was a sweet one. I think there was 119 players or so, and we somehow got it done. I think we played really well. Ran pretty well at the last couple tables, and yeah, I'll throw in some clips and see how I got it done. Okay, so probably the biggest hand early on in the tournament. This was right after break, so we came back to 400, 800. So this would be level 7. And I looked down at 4 or 5 offsuit and the small blind. Early to middle position opened. We have about 24, 25,000, so about 30 bigs. He opens. We defend in the small blind with the 4 or 5 off, which a little wide, whatever. Big blind calls. Flop is 9, 4, 5. I check. Big blind puts the rest of his chips in, which was like 5K, 5 or 6K. Original opener calls. So now there's like 15 in the middle. I got like, what, 20, 22, 23 behind. So I just jam. And he tanks and he calls with the 9-10 off. So he has the 9-10 on the 9-4-5, I have 4-5, and the big blind had ace-5, and here's the run out.
11-2, he's got 25.
25 even.
So you got 56. 56, give me 600. Yeah.
All right, so this next hand is at 600, 1200. We look at 2 kings under the gun, pretty deep. I think we had 70 or 80K at this point. So a lot of big blinds, 60, 70 blinds. I made it 2,500 under the gun, and then under the gun 1 just jammed for a little over 20,000. Came back to us, we call. They have queens. The flop comes Jack 10-9, all clubs. They have the queen of clubs. It's a little hard to see, but this is the run out. Well, somehow they bricked. No club, no 8, no king. So we hold there and we're up over 100K. So like I said, I didn't plan on vlogging this tournament just because running bad the last couple days, and you know, it's kind of tough to vlog in tournaments because you can't really have your phone out, you know, like you can in a cash game, you know, just filming a ton. But yeah, we made some hands. I doubled with jacks against ace king to get over 200 or 300K, and then won another big pot with jacks again against ace queen to put us up to like 400 or 500. And then I just played really well. Didn't make a whole bunch of mistakes. We got down to like 30 players and just 3-bet a ton and played small pots, didn't get out of line, just built my stack, and went into the final table with a decent stack, 600,000 or 700,000 with 20K big blind, I believe, or 15K big blind, so 40 or 50 blinds. I guess 40 some blinds I had going at the final table. Yeah, so like I said, we came to the final table with 40 to 50 BBs or so, and it was a tough final table. I mean, there were some, you know, okay players, and then there were a couple really good players. One I played with pretty much the entire tournament. He was direct to my right. I didn't catch his name, but he played really, really well. He was wearing a Win hoodie, a Win hat. Just super solid player. And then another player who I was informed of won WSOP circuit main event recently was Chip Leader, coming into our final table and played really, really well. So that was not fun because he was like 3 to my left. Luckily, he ran into a big hand with a guy I got a huge double through, where he had 2 pair and lost to a turn flush. But yeah, so yeah, the biggest hand by far of that FT was me looking down at 2 red 9s. Blinds were 10, 20K. Guy to my right who just took all the chips from the circuit main event winner, limps for 20. I looked down at 2 red 9s and I made it 60K from middle position. The rest of the players fold. It comes back to him. He calls. Flop comes ace 10, 10. So not the greatest flop. He checks it. I continue for 60K. He calls. At this point, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty much done with the hand. And then, sorry, playing online as well right now, just one table. Turn is the beautiful 9, and he checks it to me again. At this point, I'm putting him on maybe an ace, maybe some overs. He's played pretty snug from what I've seen. And so I tanked and I put out a big bet because I had at the time about 580 or so, maybe 6. So I bet like 180,000. He called pretty quickly, and the river was an 8. So ace 10 10 9 8. He checks it to me, and then I tanked for like a minute and 20 seconds, and I jammed for my last 380,000, and he snap called me. And at that point I was like, oh, okay, ace 10, we're done. But he showed ace 7 offsuit. So that was like a 1.4, 1.5 million chip pot, which was by far the biggest pot of the tournament. And I mean, there was like 3.5 million chips in play. So here's video of that one. So yeah, I got my little cheerleader here now with me. But yeah, after that hand, I mean, we were opening a ton, cruising, built our stack up to like 1.8, 1.9 million. Then we opened ace 4 off, and the WSOP circuit main winner jammed. I think he had like 240K, 25K big blind, so he had just under 10 BBs or so. And I opened for middle position. I believe he jammed from the smaller big blind. And it was a very small portion of our stack. I think we had 1.9 when he jammed for 220, and I already opened for, I think, 60. So we call, he had ace queen, flop was deuce, 3-3, 5 on the turn for a straight, and we took it down. And then we were just massive chip leader. We got 3-handed. We had 85% of the chips, and there was 5,700 up top. And this little girl had a fever, so I was trying to get out of there, and they knew I was trying to get out. Both players knew Daddy was trying to go home, so I think there was like 5,700 up top, and I took 5K and I let them chop the rest. So I had like 2.6 million of the 3.5 in play. Blinds were super high. They got a good deal. I got a good deal. I got to leave. And I got this cool trophy. I'll flip my camera. Here it is. So I got this thing. $200 6 max. So it says 10K guarantee, but it ended up being way more with 57 for first. I think it was closer to like a 17 or 20K guarantee. But yeah, that's that. And yeah, it was a fun tournament. So yeah, so far we've played 3 events, 1 cash, 1 final table, 1 win, of course. We bricked the 600 mystery and the 300 turbo, but we won the 6 max, and we're playing the main event Friday. So maybe I guess I'll just try and vlog it, try to get some, some footage of hands and talk about some hands maybe there on breaks. The breaks are longer there, and there's dinner break and all that. There wasn't any of that in the 6 max, so yeah, I'm gonna sign out now, and we'll see what happens in the main event.